laboratory operations, and your question today is: fires involving wood and paper are considered Class A fires, Class B fires, Class C fires, or Class D fires? And remember, this question will be on the Ascp, so do not forget to list the answer down below somewhere in the comment section. That I will be responding to all you guys, and I'll be featuring another Ascp question of the day in the next video.
Subscribe now.
What up, gang? Welcome back to another video. It's your girl Shanika, and I am back with more great information on what to expect at your histology clinicals and things that you should definitely know. Before we get into this content, do not forget to join the gang. Go ahead and subscribe and turn your post notifications so you guys know each and every time that I upload a new video, because I make this content every single week. What's really important to understand whenever you guys are at clinicals is how to read a requisition and how to make sure that your slides are put together and your cases are put together before the pathologist receives them. Now, of course, in every lab, you guys may not have to even touch a requisition, especially if it's a bigger lab and there are lab techs who actually has the paperwork that goes out with the cases. Most of you guys will not always work in a large lab. So for you guys who are actually going to be working in a smaller lab, which you may be a little bit more hands-on, a part of a histotech's duty is to make sure that you have all complete cases for the doctor. Now, some key components on that requisition can definitely help you out. The first thing will be to make sure that the patient information is on the requisition, that is correct. Also, that the case number is correct and the case number match the slides. And also make sure that the actual case number, so if it tells you that it should be A through C, then make sure that you have all of the slides that go with A through C on the case. And each lab is definitely different. Sometimes you'll just put that paperwork inside of the slide folder and then close it with the paperwork actually, out. And then there will be some type of QC before that actual case goes to the doctor. All labs are not automated. Being automated will be amazing. It makes your life 1000% easier. I've come from a lab to where I had to do everything manually, so that including H&E stains manually, special stains was done manually, immunos was done manually, cover slipping was done manually. So be prepared if you guys get into a lab that everything will not always be automated, but the benefit of that, which is major key, the benefit of that is by learning to do things manually, that helps you in the future, because if something breaks down like a machine, or if you're not able to actually, if you lose power, especially with hurricanes and things of that nature, you're able to actually follow a protocol and still get the slides and the work out, which is definitely important for you guys to learn how to stain things manually. And sometimes some stains actually require a manual H&E. So during your clinicals, you may be learning how to stain things H&E, but definitely during school, I know you guys will be staining things H&E manually. But when it comes to special stains, you probably won't be doing special stains at your clinicals. If you do get an opportunity to do special stains during your clinicals, that is a great opportunity for you guys. Now, I'm definitely going to keep it real with you guys. When it comes to putting your cases together, it's a couple of things that you guys need to make sure that you focus on, which is really important, which will help you in your histology journey. All right. The first thing is, whenever you are putting your cases together, if you have the opportunity and you can actually have the blocks there with you, especially while you're training or in school or maybe on your clinicals, if you can actually just flip the block over to double check that the slide matches the block, that is really important. So those are two identifiers right there. Make sure that the slide matches the block. Some labs, once again, are manual, and some labs still handwrite things. Make sure all three of those identifiers match. So the block, the slide tissue, and the label, the patient's name, date of birth, ID number, whatever you guys use, and the paperwork. So that's 4 things. Make sure all 4 things match, and make sure that that is QC'd and checked before it goes to the doctor. What you definitely want to avoid is giving the doctor an incomplete case. I've done it before. A lot of histotechs have done it before, especially if they're working somewhere where things are manually done. It happens. You may get some doctors who may be okay with it and just may come into the lab or call into the lab
or say, hey, I'm missing a slide.
Send an email, and they may not be pressed about it. But be aware that doctors do not like for cases to be split up unless they're notified, or they would rather have a complete case. And also too, for case isn't ready, sit it aside until the complete case is ready. The way that lab may run, maybe it's okay to actually send the case and know that the rest of the case is coming. So make sure to ask questions like that, because the lab protocol could be different. But from my experience, doctors always like a complete case. All right, guys, so final thought on what to expect. My final thought for you guys and my advice for you guys while you are at your clinicals, that would be to spend as much time learning, cutting, embedding. Those are really the key components when it comes to histology, probably what you'll be hired for at first in the first year or 2 of you actually being a new histotech. So focus on those key factors, because if the tissue is not embedded correctly or cut correctly, or if the tissue just doesn't, you don't have a good section, or your work quality isn't there, that actually is the beginning of you becoming a great histotech. You need to get the basics down first, and that's what I actually consider the basics: being a great embedder, being a great cutter, not being a faster embedder and not being a faster cutter. Please don't get those two confused. Your goal is your quality. The speed will come later. I promise you guys, you will be sitting beside someone who cuts 1,000,000 blocks an hour, and you will feel like that you just didn't do enough. But I tell you, the quality is what matters, because once that pathologist looks at your slide underneath that microscope, they will see your quality work, and they don't want you to rush. But do we want the cases out, and do we want the work out? We do. But focus on your quality. Focus on embedding great. Focus on cutting great. Focus on your orientation. Focus on getting a great section. Focus on troubleshooting when you can't get a section. These are the things that actually happen in real life. As far as your tests, focus on embedding orientation, how to embed a fallopian tube, what to embed on edge, what to embed flat, how the tissue should be flush. These are all embedding and microtomy, how to get a perfect section, how to make sure you don't have any wrinkles, what happens if you have wrinkles, what to do if you have wrinkles, what happens if your sections are jammed, what happens if you have lines through your tissue. These are all embedded in microtomy test questions. Just make sure that you focus on that aspect, but also when you're taking your ASCP, those things and those tips and those troubleshooting ideas, they happen in real life. They may not happen as often, but they will happen in real life. Just stay tuned for more clinical information. Remember that you only get one biopsy, you only get one patient biopsy, and that is important. So just take your time on your blocks and make sure that you focus on quality. I think that's it for you guys. Again, join the gang, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys in the lab.
Goodbye.